to find their confidence, find themselves, and you're doing it through so many different ways. So, Kat, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us where my lovely guest can find you and share a little bit about who you are.
Great. So I'm an osteopath. I've been practicing as an osteopath for about 12 years now. I'm also an advanced yoga teacher, and I teach breathwork meditation, and I also work as a coach, one-on-one with people, but I also work one-on-one with other healthcare providers, helping them build their businesses and understanding their mindset blocks and their limiting beliefs to help them progress in whatever goal they have, whether that's financial, business-wise, or in their personal lives. So my main goal is to provide healing and peace to people and just give them that empowerment so that they're not having to rely on professionals like myself all the time. They can start feeling empowered to take those choices and those steps on their own.
So take us through the genesis of how you got into that. Usually some people get into it because they've gone through a personal experience that they want to figure out and say, hey, I need some help. I don't know how to find the help. I can't do it alone. Maybe I need someone else because my brother and sister, they don't understand. My parents are like, suck it up, buttercup. If you're going to cry, we'll give you something to cry about. So how did you get into it, and why do you continue doing what you do?
Well, I became an osteopath. I had a few injuries. I used to dance when I was younger, and I had a few injuries, and osteopathy really helped me with my injuries. So I fell into it that way. And then during the course of my career, I've been lucky enough to have work overseas. I worked in New Zealand, Australia. Before I went to work in Australia, I was offered a job, and the contract fell through, and I'd saved up all this money to go abroad. And I thought, okay, what is my other dream that I've always wanted to do? And that was to become a yoga teacher. So I signed up to this course in Thailand to do an intensive 200-hour course. And the day after I signed up for that, I was offered a different job in Australia that was due to start the week after I finished my yoga training. So it was kind of like things were aligning for me, and I needed to let go of that idea of I needed to, get this full-time job to get a mortgage, all that rubbish. As soon as I let go of that, all these opportunities came up. So I went to work in Australia as an osteopath and a yoga teacher after my first training. And I kind of had always wanted to live by the sea, in the sunshine. I love the sunshine. And teach yoga, work as an osteopath. And I did actually eventually, in the 2 years of Australia, through lots of uphill struggles at times, financially, different jobs, difficult bosses, etc. I did finally, at the end of the 2 years, have everything I thought I'd ever wanted, but I was like deeply unhappy, like really depressed. My sister had just given birth to a beautiful baby girl in England, and I really felt like I was missing out. And I was just really unhappy. And there was something in me that was just sick of my own, I'm not allowed to swear, but sick of my own poop, basically. So I decided I'm going to move back to the UK. There's something not right here. So when I moved back to the UK, I just knew I needed to work on myself. So I took some time. I had some CBT therapy, some counseling. And things did slowly start to improve. I got to focus on being with my family, reconnect with old friends. I think you always make friends when you go abroad, but sometimes you just miss those really deep-rooted connections and family and friends. And then I was only home for a few months before UK went into lockdown, actually. And during that time, Instagram Lives were like a huge thing. And I started to get into listening to coaches talking, and I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And I started to read the books they were talking about. I followed a couple of people that really inspired me, and I thought I'm gonna become a coach. So I signed up with this course called Inner Leadership Academy, which is quite an intense 6-month course, and became an NLP practitioner and a coach. And then through kind of speaking, through my coaching, I was offered Other roles, I'm an ambassador for an osteopathic community, Osteo Allies, and I give mindset talks on limiting beliefs to them. I've run workshops on stress and anxiety and how it affects physiology in the body and the steps we can take to move forward. I was running live meditations and yoga classes on Instagram during lockdown. And basically, all these doors started to open up for me. I always knew that physical pain, it wasn't just that. You can never just massage and crack someone's back and it's going to be completely fine. There's always going to be emotional issues attached to that, psychological issues attached to that, especially with chronic pain. Understanding why people aren't getting better and why they're perceiving their pain as maybe greater than other people without chronic pain would. Understanding what it means for them to have back pain. Maybe they can't lift up their kids. Maybe they can't go to work. That means financial stress. Maybe they care for an elderly parent and actually having back pain means they get a bit of time off. So I always knew there was more to just physical pain. And then bringing in the yoga and the mindset stuff, I could really start to explore the emotional and psychological part of pain and people's illness and give them the tools such as breath work and meditation that they can do at home and help their healing a little bit quicker and maybe go a little bit deeper with their healing. I think when you give people the steps to do the healing on their own and they can start to take accountability for their recovery, it's just a huge shift. That locus of control, where the external locus of control, someone else is going to fix me. Internal locus of control, I know what I need to do to move forward. Just giving them the tools so that they can shift that mindset and take accountability for their recovery and their actions, just helped me basically show people how they can move forward. And it really helped me bring a lot more healing to people in different capacities, whether that's through coaching, yoga, breath work, or osteopathy.
When you were going through your feelings of missing out because there was these celebratory events around you, right? Like your sister's having a child, there's all these changes, you're being presented with a good job after good job after good job. But then you decided that something was still missing. And then you started to reach out to coaches through observing them, the Instagram live you mentioned. That's a good point, because I think many of us during the quarantine session, during the lockdowns, we discover things about ourselves that maybe we didn't know was actually there. And then we begin to create this person that we thought, you know what? I'm used to my life like this. And that Kat is thinking, what if I did this? Because I'm starting to feel that's more of me. Were you able to discover more about yourself during that time where you thought, I'm missing out, let me go back home where it's familiar and let me rediscover a passion of mine?
Yeah, definitely. I think coming home and having some therapy helped me realize all the moves I'd been making were from a place of escapism. I wasn't moving because it was moving me towards my vision. I was moving because I didn't want to deal with what was there. So I think recognizing that the next move I needed to make was from a space of empowerment, not from running away, was the biggest shift for me. Doing the work myself, realized it was because I didn't know how to set boundaries, specifically with saying no, especially as a healthcare practitioner, an empathetic person. I'm taking on everyone's stuff, probably to the detriment of myself. And that just led to a load of overwhelm, which probably caused me to move. Like, I'd lived in New Zealand for a year before that. And I'd come home again. And then I'd gone to Thailand, Australia. And even though I don't regret it at all, because it was an amazing experience and I learned so much, I realized coming back and just kind of like hermiting away and just focusing in on myself without all these external things around me helped me see actually I was running away from stuff rather than running towards something I really wanted. So yeah, I think definitely having that time to hermit away. Like, I was unable to work for 3 months during lockdown until osteopathy got classified as healthcare. So I basically had nothing else to really think about. I sort of distanced myself when I first came back because I knew I needed to do some healing anyway. So almost, how monks go away and they go to their monastery and they don't have any external worries, essentially. I just sort of hermited away, did loads of yoga, meditation, workouts, listened to loads of philosophy coaching. And it was really kind of a perfect timing for me to discover things and help me move forward. And I did have to let go of a lot of things. Like I let go of friends during that time. I realized, well, old cat, like party cat, maybe that would make me feel a bit rubbish about myself. And it was difficult because they'd been friends my whole life and, I had a lot of memories with them. But I realized that they weren't aligned with me. And every time I hung out with them, I'd end up feeling not so good about myself. So it wasn't always like a smooth transition. But once I was able to let go, the people who've come into my life now are much more aligned, and the lifestyle I lead is much more aligned. I rarely drink, the occasional wedding or whatever, but it's not a massive part of my life anymore. I'm vegetarian. I do teach yoga all the time. I live a pretty healthy lifestyle, and I definitely feel better about myself. I don't have that guilt, or I'm not comparing myself. I don't feel like I'm sort of the sidekick in my life anymore. So yeah, I think it was kind of good. Sometimes you have to come home to just reconnect and sort your shit out, essentially, so you can move forward. You can't be moving all the time. Sometimes you need to stop and rest, get your ducks in a row, and then we can move.
I know for some people, that's exactly what they wanted. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they need. See, for many men, that place that you described is a toilet, right? We do some of our most profound thinking there. We try to figure things out. When we have a newspaper, we're on the John, and we're like, okay, I'm going to save the world today, but I need to sort out what I need to sort out. Because a lot of men do their thinking there. And you raised a good point where as you began to align yourself with certain ways, with certain beliefs, with certain actions, unfortunately, some people didn't make the cut, right? From your friends to your family to your acquaintances. And I like to put people in three categories. You have people that you know that are there for you whenever you're in need, right? Let's say, for example, Kat, you were in a situation and you needed guidance. You have that type of person that you can call. And there's the type of person that anytime there's a party, anytime there's alcohol, you have that friend. Johnny down the street, okay, Kat, you want to go to a party Friday night, Saturday night? He always or she always has a party for you to go to. And then there's a friend that you don't see every day. You don't talk every day. But when you do communicate, it's like nothing has been missed.
Mm-hmm.
And they show you a type of love that we always need, because whenever something is going wrong in your life, they seem to pop up, right? They seem to be there. They seem
Mm-hmm.
to be that ear, that voice in your ear. So when you went through all that and you came back home and you realigned yourself with the appropriate people, with the appropriate behaviors, you went vegetarian, no more drinking, you're not partying like you used to, things of that nature, right? How much of that, Kat, are you putting into your work when you're helping customers or your clients, sorry, who are experiencing physical pain, but we know that the source of it sometimes is something that's going on in their life, maybe on an emotional or mental level?
Yeah. So it wasn't all in one go. Like I'd been a vegetarian for about 6 years, and I'd always been quite an avid gym goer. Um, Maybe sometimes I was exercising again to avoid stuff. So I had to bring that back into a level as well. Um, you know, like it's okay to have one night at home. You don't have to be in the gym every single day, twice a day or whatever. So just bringing that into level as well. Um, how do I help people with that? Sometimes all it takes is asking questions, to be honest, such as what would it mean for you to not have this pain in your neck? How would you feel if you didn't have this back pain? How would that make you feel? What would you be able to do? What do you think you'll be able to accomplish if you didn't have this back pain? How would it make your life better if you didn't have this pain? Just sometimes kind of getting people's goals, but kind of asking them and listening to them talk. Most of my information I get is from listening. I just ask a really simple question and listen. And I think that's a really powerful thing for people. Quite often people don't have the space to be heard properly. They're always putting other people before themselves. Women, maybe, mums, fathers. We're always putting someone before us. People that care for parents, teachers, any healthcare providers. It's really, really common thing. So I basically provide a space for people to come and say whatever they want. I ask a few sort of key questions, and then all I really do is listen. And what needs to come up comes up usually, and maybe I'll just emphasize what they've just said, so that they can really hear what they've said. And then I think that's when it hits home, right? People are like, I'm just so tired. I'm like, pain, and pain is tiring. It's exhausting being in pain all the time. Just reaffirming that, like, of course you're tired, you're in pain all the time. That's okay to be tired. It's just like seeing the shift in someone's face, like, you're listening to me, you're understanding me, is a huge shift. Helping people understand that when they're stressed, they feel pain more is a bigger shift. Helping people understand the physiology in the body when they are stressed or anxious, and why they're getting all these weird symptoms. Just explaining that to people, that lifts a lot of pressure off their mind. And when this weight is lifted from their mind, they've got the space to start healing and to move forward, because now they understand the steps that they need to take to move forward. They understand why it's happening and how we can change it.
For those who are watching along on my social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, please continue and follow for more. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for more interviews like the one we have with Kat today, and give her a follow, unlike everyone, because she has some amazing content to help you guys all feel better.